goal setting. It sounds so easy. You jot down a few wishes and off you go. If it is so easy, why do so many of us not achieve our goals? Now this video will look at the goal itself and do a deep dive into how you formulate your goals to set yourself up for success. You may have heard those who proclaim that one should not have New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions sound like this. I want to be happy. I want to be successful or famous. I want to lose weight. I want to complete my dissertation. They are vague and often comes without a plan, and therefore is nothing more than a wish. And as they say, a wish is a goal without a plan. But when we set effective and reasonable goals, we enable ourselves to achieve them. We set ourselves up for success. When we have vague goals, such as a wish or a resolution, we fail because we become avoidant, which means we procrastinate on what's important and become demoralized and depressed. So what is the problem? The first problem is that many of us just don't set goals. A few years ago, one of my postgraduate students said she does not set goals or timelines. She just sees what she feels like doing on any given day and then does that. And it worked for the first few months of her postgraduate journey only. But because of the complexity of her research project, she needed to adapt her ways to handle a higher number of smaller projects within the bigger one. Her self-discipline and daily habits to work on her research were enough to pull her through the initial stages, but later she needed to learn another skill, effective and reasonable goal setting. So why are so many of us not setting goals? We don't know how to set goals, and then we just leave it. Or we were disappointed in the past when we set our goals, but then didn't achieve them. We don't want to live through that disappointment again. After all, it's not a good feeling to set goals just to find ourselves not conquering them, or for whatever reason. How often have we heard of postgraduate students saying, starting Monday, I'm going to work on my research project every day. And then it just does not happen. The second problem is that many of us set unreasonable goals. Does this type of goal sound familiar? Finish literature review by 13 May, but today is the 11th of May and you have not even started. There is no way that you'll finish an entire literature review for a master's or a doctoral research project in such a short period of time. Sometimes it takes hours to compile even one single paragraph. In other words, the goal itself is unreasonable. The fact that you did not achieve the goal has nothing to do with your abilities, resources, or motivation. The problem lies with the goal itself. And you can imagine how one can get despondent if we keep setting such goals and don't achieve them. You become a serial goal non-achiever. Then the third problem is that we set goals that are too broad. The example of finish literature review is a very appropriate one. But we can also use examples of complete data analysis or write discussion. These are broad goals, and what we do if we set these goals is that we don't put together a tinier to-do list. We procrastinate because they are too broad, and we go on and spend our time on smaller, better defined goals. And these goals do not necessarily contribute to the bigger picture, but they often just keeps us busy. That is why they talk about busyness as a form of procrastination, where we keep ourselves busy with all kinds of smaller tasks to feel productive, and in this way procrastinate on what is really important, such as the actual thing that will move the needle the most, such as completing your discussion. Broad goals, such as write discussion, can be broken up into smaller, more manageable tasks, such as review results and jot down potential discussion points, or write discussion section on the age range of participants with lower back pain, or whatever your research is about. Before changing any of your ways, know why it is important to set goals. Why do we need them? What's in it for you? Goals help us create a concrete vision of where we are going. And you also need to know why the specific goal you set is important to the bigger picture. How do these goals fit into your overall vision for the next year or the next 5 years? You can even put together a vision board where you print pictures of what you want to achieve. a graduation ceremony, a completed dissertation, an academic job, or whatever else you see yourself achieving in the next few years. Once you have set the goal, you can formulate a plan to get there. It also allows you to look back and review your achievements, and thus enable you to celebrate. Ideally, your goals need to align with your passion and your purpose. They say the definition of passion is a barely controllable emotion. So surely we should just not follow our barely controllable emotion, and that is why purpose is important, which is defined as the reason for which something is done or created, or the reason for which something exists. How do you set goals? I will show you a process that will help you set effective and reasonable goals with an example from the research context. It is called the CoStar process and was developed by the owners of the online information company, Membership Geeks. Let's start with the C of CoStar, which stands for the current situation. Evaluate how things are going at the moment. What are the challenges that are in need of solutions? What do you have going for you? Do this by using the SWOT analysis. For example, one of your strengths may be that you are a fast reader and find it easy to read through scientific articles. Your weakness may be that you sometimes get lost in reading. You go down the rabbit hole and end up reading irrelevant work. Opportunities may be that you have a quieter time coming up at work, which will allow you to spend some more time on your research. Or if you are studying full-time, you have a writing retreat scheduled with fellow students that will help you get ahead. Threats may include falling behind your planned timeline as things take longer than planned, and you may not be able to catch up if you don't take action now. List all your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats pertaining to your research endeavors. Seeing those in front of you will make you aware, and this awareness is the first step to taking action. You have now described your current situation and are ready to move on to the O in CoStar, standing for objectives. Identify your objectives or your goals for the next 3 months and make them SMART. The S in SMART stands for specific, as opposed to vague. For example, complete literature review. M stands for measurable. To make a goal measurable, you need to state how you'll know when it is achieved or not achieved. As with many other research components, this is a difficult one because quality is such a subjective concept. So let's try this. Change complete literature review to complete the first draft of the literature review at a standard ready to send to my supervisor. Okay, next up is A for achievable. Do you think this goal is achievable? Yes, indeed. You are a fast reader, as we've seen from your SWOT analysis, and you will have some extra time available. However, it's not achievable overnight. The R in SMART stands for relevant. Is the goal relevant to your overall aim? Yes, you need a literature review as part of your research project. Then we get to the T. The T in SMART stands for time-based. Make your goal time-based or time-bound by adding a time frame to your goal. Complete the first draft of the literature review at a level ready to send to my supervisor by 30 June 2022. This is pretty reasonable and achievable if today is only the 11th of May. Now this is a practical example of setting SMART goals. Now you can apply the same process to all your other goals. With that, we are moving to the S in CoStar, which stands for strategies. To figure out your strategies, ask, how am I going to achieve this goal? You are going to read approximately 50 scientific articles. You are also going to set up a structure consisting of appropriate headings and subheadings. T stands for tactics. These are the specific processes you will follow to ensure that your strategy succeeds. For each strategy, write down a few tactics, such as, if your strategy is read approximately 50 relevant scientific articles, then your tactics are search and download 50 articles that seem relevant from title and abstract, Summarize each relevant article into a table. Or your strategy may be, set up a structure for your literature review consisting of headings and subheadings. Then your tactics may be, go through 10 examples of literature reviews in completed dissertations and see how much detail these literature reviews contain and how the content relates to the aim and objectives of the dissertation. You are going to draw a spider diagram on a whiteboard to clarify all the sections needed. And you are going to set up a meeting with your supervisor to present your structure and get her input. Thereafter, you are going to set up headings and subheadings in Microsoft Word using the heading styles function and appropriate numbering. The A in CoStar stands for action steps. In other words, operationalizing your goals, strategies, and tactics. This is where you schedule time in your calendar to take action and add relevant tasks to your to-do list. Remember to schedule enough time because we forever underestimate how long a task takes to complete. Also, break down your tactics into smaller tasks and add those to your to-do list as well. For example, you forgot your online library login details and need to get your password sent to you. Don't worry, these things happen to the best of us. But this is a to-do list item in itself. Another 2 tasks may be to list relevant search terms or list databases to be searched. Finally, the R in CoStar stands for review. This is where you look back and reflect on where you are towards achieving your goals, something that will give you a reason to celebrate. Going through your goals every 3 months is a good idea, but if you prefer, you can also do a monthly planning session. That can work as well. Tweak your goals, strategies, tactics, and action plan as needed. Things do not always go according to plan, so keep trying until you get it right. Thomas Edison failed many times in his quest to invent the light bulb. In fact, he tried 2,000 different filament materials. At one stage, his assistant commented, "All our work is in vain. We have learned nothing." Edison replied, "Oh, we have come a long way, and we have learned a lot. We know that there are 2,000 elements which we cannot use to make a good light bulb." As we go through this goal-setting journey, we may discover 2,000 ways of working that do not work for us, before we get to the one that works perfectly. Now, let's look at a few tips and tricks when it comes to goal setting. Break bigger goals down. Stick them up where you can see them. Keep track of your progress. Schedule it. Be reasonable. Reflect every now and again. Get an accountability partner. Create positive habits. Don't spend too much time on planning. And celebrate your wins. A live workshop on the topic of goal setting was presented to members of the Research Masterminds Success Academy, and a recording is available if you join this academy. We did a deep delve into what works and all these tips and tricks when it comes to goal setting. And to get access to this recording and many other gems, join the Research Masterminds Success Academy today. I'll put a link in the description box below this video. Happy goal setting! If you found this video helpful, smash the like button. For more useful tips to boost your research experience, subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button below this video. And while you're at it, hit the bell so that you get notified whenever I produce a new video. If you need a solution to a challenge not yet covered on my channel, leave a comment in the box below. See you in the next video.